Hi, I'm Scott Little. I'm a chiropractor in Woodland Park, Colorado. You know, the question comes up sometimes, are chiropractors real doctors? And the answer is absolutely, or absolutely not, or yes, or no, or maybe, or perhaps. Sometimes, yeah, kind of, sort of, depends. Guess it depends on what your definition of a doctor is. Is a doctor just a medical doctor who treats disease with drugs and surgery? Or is a doctor a teacher? You know, I feel like the word doctor literally means teacher. And my primary responsibility to my community is to teach people where health comes from, what causes us to get sick, what causes us to get well, and what we can do to stay well and healthy for arguably the rest of our lives. You know, as a dentist, a real doctor, is an optometrist a real doctor, is a podiatrist a real doctor. You know, the reality is I don't care whether you think I'm a real doctor or not. I'm not egotistical, and my self-worth and identity is not wrapped up in whether or not you call me Dr. Little or Dr. Scott. Or reality is I'd rather you just call me Scott. You know, a friend of mine once said, we're looking at building relationships with people for the rest of their lives. And are you going to go to a doctor for the rest of your life, like on a weekly basis? Because that's the way I believe that chiropractic best serves you and your family, is for you to come and get checked and adjusted on a weekly basis. Well, if you go to a doctor on a weekly basis, are you a hypochondriac? Are you never getting well? And you know, the reality is that there is a distinct difference between the objectives and goals of myself as a chiropractor and the goals and objectives of a medical doctor. You know, in Asia, it seems like the best doctors are the ones who take care of nothing but well people. If you go to a doctor that takes care of nothing but sick people, that doctor's viewed as maybe a substandard doctor, because the doctor's job in Asia is to keep you well. Well, I believe that my job as a chiropractor, whether I'm a doctor or not in your mind, is to teach you where health comes from, what makes us sick, what we can do to get well, and what we must do to stay well. Now, I will say this. In the state of Colorado and all 49 other states, a chiropractor is a primary care physician. Again, like a medical doctor, like a dentist, like an optometrist, etc. The state of Colorado calls me Dr. Scott Little, but I don't expect you to. I'm just Scott for you. Chiropractic is based on the fact that your body is a self-healing, self-regulating organism, and that your brain and nervous system is the master control center that controls and coordinates every function of every tissue cell in your body. We live in a stress-filled, fallen world, and stress is all around us in the form of emotional, chemical, and physical stress. As long as your nervous system's ability to adapt to stress is real high and your stress level's low, then everything functions really well. But the very minute that your stress levels overwhelm your body's ability to adapt, that's when chaos ensues. My job as a chiropractor is to apply my philosophy, art, and science to you and your family, in my opinion, on a weekly basis, to undo the effects of a lifetime of living in this stress-filled, fallen world that is full of mental and emotional, chemical and physical stress that creates tension in your nervous system, tension in your body that leads to so many health problems. So I'll tell you this about chiropractors and being doctors and so forth. I will tell you I graduated with a tremendous amount of debt, much like one would if they went to medical school. I will tell you that chiropractic college was very similar to medical school in that it was a 10-semester program, about 30 credit hours each semester, or plus or minus, after undergrad. So we have a tremendous amount of education. If you look at the curriculum, it's very similar to that of a medical doctor's curriculum. I'll be real honest, though, and say there's an enormous amount of competition in medical school. You've watched it on TV. You've had friends that are medical doctors and seen what they went through medical school. I'm not going to say that chiropractic school is any easier in that the coursework, learning pathology, learning biochemistry, learning physiology, learning microbiology, all of that is very difficult. It doesn't matter, but there's not the competition and the pressure in chiropractic college that there was in medical school. And there's not as much need for us to know those things for the rest of our practice lives as it is your general practitioner or your gynecologist or any of your other medical doctors. That's because as a chiropractor, I do one thing and one thing very, very well, and it has a global effect on your digestion system. So I don't need to know every pathology in the digestion system. I don't need to know every pathology in your hormone system, your cardiovascular system, any other thing. What I need to know is whether or not you have an interference in the spine that's affecting the nervous system, which controls and coordinates your digestion system, your hormone system, your cardiovascular system. Every function of every tissue cell in your body is under the control and coordination and the adaptability factors of your central nervous system. My job is to remove interference to the nervous system so that your body's innate healing and adaptability capabilities can kick in at their full function, and you can function at your optimal level. Then your body, which created your digestion system, created your cardiovascular system, created your respiratory system, can function at a higher level. Because we live in a stress-filled, fallen world, and we've lived in a stress-filled, fallen world for our entire lives, I contend that the best way of using chiropractic is to come in on a weekly basis, get checked and adjusted as necessary, and do so for you and your family the rest of your lives. And that's the one thing that I do very, very well, and I am dedicated to teaching my people, is the relationship between the spine, the nervous system, and the health of your entire body and mind and your quality of life. And indeed, our goal is to help prevent health problems from occurring. You know, again, I don't have a secret agenda to wish I was a medical doctor. I'm not a chiropractic physician whose role it is to treat conditions of the musculoskeletal system, and this is my unique role, like a cardiologist has her role, and a gynecologist has her role, and a pediatrician has his role. No. I have one role in healthcare, and it's to correct subluxations that occur in your spine to improve nervous system function, not to treat medical conditions of the musculoskeletal system. I'm a doctor who teaches people the relationship between stress and your life, and helps you to eliminate the effects of stress on your quality of life and your optimal health. Please just call me Scott. I don't want to be called Dr. Scott necessarily, maybe by your kids just as a sign of respect, but for you and me, it's just Scott. I want to have a relationship with you that lasts for the rest of our lives, and you'd go to your friend who keeps you well for the rest of your life. You don't want to go to your medical doctor on a weekly basis because you're constantly sick. And so, am I a doctor? I really don't care. I don't want to be a medical doctor, and I don't care whether you call me doctor. If doctor means teacher, I'm on board. If doctor means guy or gal who treats medical conditions, I'm not a doctor. You can be the judge, because ultimately you're in charge of this relationship, not me, but I'd love to be your chiropractor for the rest of your life.